In this spread today, I'm going to go much deeper into the psychology of this connection between you and your person. So, this is the person on your mind most when you're watching this right now. And this is a love connection. I set the intention that this is romantic in some sort, whether you're long term together, just met, a crush, an ex, just someone in your orbit. It can be any situation, but I set the intention that it is primarily romantic and not platonic. Although it could be platonic, that's just not the strongest energy I'm picking up with here. Okay, so I'm going to go into what your person is projecting onto you, the version of themselves they're showing you, what they're hiding even from themselves, what you activate in their subconscious, and what they're suppressing, and where they're psychologically in this connection right now. So in their shadow position is actually really interesting because that's what they're hiding from themselves. And it's not necessarily something negative either. So it actually might be how much happiness they associate with you. So let's start with position 1 over here, Temperance. This is their projection. So they may be projecting an idea of healing, balance, harmony, or even divine timing onto this relationship with you or this connection with you. So there's something about you that they associate with bringing different parts of themselves together. And that was the shorts reading I did where I mentioned opposites, like you can be soft and you can be vulnerable, yet you can be strong. You can be independent, yet you can be in a relationship or in a connection with another without losing your individuality. So this projection, it doesn't really mean that what they're seeing in you is not real. What it means is that I'm looking here at the psychological meaning they're placing onto you in their minds. So they may experience you as someone who calms something inside of them, balances them, or represents the possibility of creating something harmonious out of two very different energies. So, and there's also so much patience here. And they really believe this connection needs time rather than force. They feel like there's something special that's cultivating with you. Okay, going to the Fool. Can you see that? Okay. Going to the Fool. This is my second position. This is what they show the world. And this is so fascinating. Outwardly, they may present themselves as much more carefree. Like, this might be the type of person when you're in a group of friends, they're like bubbly. And if they're not bubbly, they're at least like, they can like small talk. Like, they are good, happy-go-lucky communicators. And it's like they put off this energy as if they're not worrying about where this is going with you, or they're not really worried about anything at all. They're just so carefree. So, and this is the relationship self they're comfortable allowing you to see. Like, they're comfortable with you seeing them this way. However, underneath that is actually the 10 of Cups, and this is what they do not show you. And this isn't like a purposeful, like, oh, I'm not going to show you this. This is just, I'm like digging into this person's psyche. So, and after this, I'm going to get into the relational energies with you and what this is, where this is headed right now. So, I love this placement with the 10 of Cups. So, this is not dark or toxic. So, this is more about what your person has difficulty consciously owning about themselves. So they might have difficulty admitting just how much emotional fulfillment they can imagine with you. This is all about emotional completion, like partnership, belonging, happiness, and the possibility of building an emotionally meaningful life with another person, and that's you. So imagine the contradiction here. Their persona, the Fool, says, I'm just taking this as it comes. Let's see where this goes. But underneath that, there's a much bigger emotional picture this person isn't showing you. Like they imagine like a life with you. They feel like you can bring them substantial emotional fulfillment. So now let's get into the Sun. This is an emotional pattern. This is what this relationship with you is activating within them. So this is something around visibility, like being seen, being known, authenticity, joy, possibly even vulnerability through happiness. And because sometimes we're very comfortable processing pain, happiness can actually be scarier. So if you genuinely make them happy, suddenly you have become something they can lose. And the sun can expose everything. So this connection may be illuminating parts of this person that normally remain hidden. And there's a desire to simply be themselves, but being fully seen can require an enormous amount of vulnerability. All right, let's go into the Eight of Wands. Okay, this is what you activate on an archetypal level. So this is all about excitement, momentum, communication, desire. This is what you're activating within them on the archetypal level. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Okay, the pronunciation, I mean. So anyway, something about you and this connection wakes them up. So you might even represent movement and a part of their emotional life that has been previously stagnant. So there's an immediacy to the Eight of Wands. Something inside your person wants to move towards this. They want to express, they want things to happen. And that becomes particularly interesting when I compare it with what they are repressing. So let's go into what they're repressing with the Seven of Cups reversed. Sorry, my voice is like, I'm like sick. So anyway, yeah. This is representing something becoming much clearer than they want to acknowledge. So upright, this is the Seven of Cups. It can entertain possibilities, maybe this, maybe that, maybe I don't know what I want, but reversed, some of that fog begins clearing. And in the repression position, I would question whether this person already knows more about what they want than they're admitting with you. Like they're clear about what they want with you. The confusion itself may be becoming difficult to maintain, and there may be an emerging recognition of like, I actually know which direction I want to go. That's what your person is thinking. But like acknowledging that requires them to do something about it, right? So that's where I get the Six of Wands. Okay, this is what this relationship or connection is pushing them to develop. So this is all about confidence and self-belief, the willingness to step forward and be seen. So this connection may be challenging your person to become somebody who actually owns what they want, instead of remaining uncertain, hiding behind possibilities, or waiting for circumstances to decide for them. They're being pushed towards confidence, and there's also recognition here. They may need to learn that being emotionally visible doesn't mean losing power. Sometimes being willing to say, yes, this matters to me, is more courageous, than saying nothing. All right, so how are they actually managing this, though, in the physical 3D world? I actually got the Page of Pentacles, which is not out here on my spread here. But, okay, this means they're taking small steps, and they're, like, learning and observing things, taking things one step at a time. It's like they're trying to understand what they're dealing with before making enormous moves. And this is really important because we all have this emotional and psychological intensity underneath the surface, but their actual behavioral strategy is much more grounded. It's like one step at a time. I think I said that. Let me see whether this is stable. They're like testing the stability of this connection. Let me learn this new terrain with this person, the viewer watching. So if you've been wondering why the internal energy seems much larger than the external behavior, this would explain it. So they are approaching something psychologically significant in a very incremental way. So let's go to the next Strength and Ace of Swords. And then this converts to Ace of Wands, Seven of Wands. This is like their stage where they are psychologically in the confines of the connection or in relation to it. So what this means, okay, there's an attempt to master their impulses over here and gain clarity with the Strength and the Ace of Swords. So Strength isn't about suppressing something because you're afraid of it. It's learning how to hold powerful, instinctual energy without allowing it to control you. So that's true power, right? That's true strength. And beside that, we have the Ace of Swords. So this is a realization, mental clarity. Something is cutting through the fog. And then what develops into the Ace of Wands with the Seven of Wands. So now we have desire, fire, initiative, like a new impulse towards action. But immediately beside it is the Seven of Wands. It's all about holding a position, being defensive, protecting something, and standing your ground. So psychologically, this person, it's like they're reaching a point where clarity is creating a desire for movement, but movement also activates their defenses. So complicated, right? So that's such an important distinction. It's like the presence of resistance doesn't mean the absence of desire. So they actually appear together in this spread. So this person, something inside them is waking up and being like, yeah, I actually know what I want now. And another part immediately responds, then I need to protect myself. So, all right. The more clearly your person recognizes what they want, the more vulnerable having something to lose makes them feel. So that's exactly what this relationship is asking them to develop through. And it's not simply about romantic feelings here. It's the courage to consciously own them. So deep, right? Okay, I'm going to get into these astro cards. And then I'm going to pull some more clarifiers and like what they want to say and whatnot. All right, so I'm going to start with Aquarius. This was in my first position. This is all about the lens of this connection. These two cards were in the celestial character. This is the location and the pattern. All right, so let's start with Aquarius. So I'm going to pull back. So this is like, okay, why did I even do this? I'm pulling back from this person's individual psychology, and I want to look at this relationship now. So what's the larger framework operating between you and this person energetically? The first thing, let's go to Aquarius here as the lens. So Aquarius needs freedom, individuality, authenticity, and this may be a relationship that isn't meant to develop simply because two people follow a conventional relationship script. This might not be, what you or this person would consider conventional. There's something about this connection that requires both of you to remain individuals. And Aquarius also looks toward the future. So it's asking you to move beyond old conditioning and consider a completely different possibility for your love life. So this relationship may challenge both of you to ask, like, what could this relationship become if I stopped approaching it according to everything I've experienced before? And there can be an unconventional quality. So Aquarius really wants evolution when it comes down to it. So moving over here to Jupiter and Saturn, the fact that they're together is incredibly interesting. The fact that Jupiter is all about expansion, Saturn is all about building and structure. So Jupiter wants possibility, growth, exploration, and then Saturn wants maturity, responsibility, boundaries. So I don't see these energies as fighting each other. I see them asking this relationship to learn how to do both. How can you expand this connection without outrunning its foundation? How can you allow something bigger while still creating enough structure to sustain what you're building? And then Jupiter without Saturn, that could become enormous possibility without grounding. But then Saturn without Jupiter can become controlled, and that would cause nothing to actually grow. So together they can represent expansion with maturity. All right, that's really interesting after everything I just saw in this person's psychology, because internally it's like there's already a desire for a movement alongside a need for caution. So the relationship itself seems to contain the same conservation. Okay, going on to the 9th house with exploration here in the location position. So what this means is like this relationship is actually doing its work. So the 9th house, it's all about the expansion of consciousness. It's like spirituality, higher learning, philosophy, travel, exploration, beliefs, and meaning. So it's what happens when we move beyond the boundaries of the world we've already known. So this connection may be doing much more than like creating romance and romantic feelings. It's expanding the way you and your person understand relationships in general and even yourselves. So yeah, one or both of you may encounter beliefs through this connection that challenge what you previously thought love was supposed to look like. So there can also be a literal 9th house themes for some people. So like distance, travel, this might be long distance. You could be from different cultures, education. It could also point to spirituality, publishing, or completely different backgrounds and worldviews. So psychologically, the strongest message of advice is to widen the lens. So this relationship may make much more sense when you stop evaluating it exclusively through the framework of what has happened before. So let's move on last to progressions. So this is the most important part. So this is not describing one dramatic moment. This is development. So something unfolding gradually, like a larger journey. The significance of certain experiences may only become obvious when you step back and look at how much has changed over time. So that really tells me that to reduce this connection to what happens next. So like, don't do that, sorry. But a better question might be, what am I and my person becoming through knowing each other? Because this connection is like more developmental. And when I combine progressions with Saturn, that becomes even stronger. Time matters here. Maturation matters. Development matters. When Jupiter and the 9th house tell me this isn't stagnation, there's expansion occurring throughout that process. And Aquarius says that whatever these two people are becoming may look very different from what either person originally expected. Okay, so bringing this all together before I pull some cards. This connection is really confronting both people with this question, like, can you grow beyond the relationship patterns you've already known without losing yourself in the process? Because this connection isn't only activating attraction, it's activating development. And the way that you and your person understand yourself, love, relationships may be fundamentally different because they're experienced together. Okay, so I'm gonna pull, you know what, let's do this. What do they feel about you right now? How do they feel about you right now? Oh my God. They want to grow this connection with you. They feel like you're beautiful, you're abundant, you make things happen for yourself. You're just overflowing with this love and femininity. Even if you're a man, it's just like this ability to create. You're so creative. How about in their heart space? If something happened between you and them, they want to fix it. They want to grow this. They want to grow from where you are now. How do they feel for you right now? Ooh, that was too many. Should I take it? I feel like I should. I just heard I should. Okay. Oh, okay. There's a lot of responsibility, first of all, in making things right. And they're actually thinking and planning about like what words they would use when they see you next. Like, what can they actually say to make this right? And they actually do. They feel like you're like a long-term partner material. Like they could see building a life with you. Like this is not just a fling. But they want to do it right with the Justice card. Like, and they must feel, oh my God, that's so funny. The Hierophant is here. When I just got finished talking about how, like, the 9th house, like, that's all about spirituality. This Hierophant is all about spirituality. But it's like, there's something about how commitment looks to this person and how it looked to them in the past and how it's, like, almost changing because of you. And they want to do it right. And also they're evolving spiritually because of this, like, new way of looking at commitment and, like, balance and doing things right. And the impetus, why do they care? Because they can see a future with you. Let's get what do they want to say? Okay, I just heard to get the other deck first. Sorry. And then I'll get that. I knew exactly what I was doing. You were the best thing in my life. I wish I could take back my words. Oh, I'm acting from wounds I haven't faced. I no longer blame you for my wounds. Oh, look at that. That's where the spiritual growth is coming in with their higher self. It's like the connection with you is forcing them to confront something in their subconscious, and they're realizing that what is triggering them about you is actually their responsibility. It's nothing you did. You just triggered it. And this might be, I just heard that this actually might go for you too, like vice versa. Like maybe this person is also triggering you. Let's get an angel card. I just like got I wasn't even gonna do this, but what's some advice for you, viewer, about this connection? All right, the viewer, I need some advice, please. Please give me one angel card. Why is nothing coming out? All right, if you want to speed up the video, feel free to do so. This has literally never happened. All right. Jovial. Trust the unfolding. There is no wrong path, only choices that take you closer to or further from love. Oh my God, that is so beautiful. Sorry, I always say that, but... All right, and I think the fact that that took so long, there's something about receptivity I was getting where maybe try to get in a place where you're comfortable, you're in receptive mode, maybe meditate, you know, right before bed, drifting off to sleep, just like visualize. And that will allow you to receive these messages clearer. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to start doing more regular readings. I wasn't able to be home this week due to a very unexpected event. So it kind of threw off everything, but here I am, trying to get back on track here. Yeah, I'm gonna have a schedule up soon and do more regular readings, including these relational psychology readings, and also just more love and zodiac and stuff like that in general. So I do hope you like that. Please like and subscribe if it resonated, and I hope to see you next time. I'm gonna try to get a screenshot. Oh, maybe not with that one, maybe this one. You know what? This is like the heart of the reading. Screenshot. Okay, thank you.